Clasica San Sebastian 2019. So before I start with what happened at Clasica Sebastian, I need to put the last 10 days in context. After a good amount of preparation, I headed off to Belgium with a flight from Toulouse airport. The first race on the checklist was GP Cerami, which turned out to be one of the hottest days in Belgium history. It took more out of the body than I would have liked, but yeah. We then had a day off where we made the much anticipated coffee stop, just talking all things non-cycling related and what's happening in each other's life. After all, we are also human beings. Right, not as hot as yesterday. He knows there's all the places with the canals. Coffee shop stop and a beautiful view of the Canalia on the left. So hot, but not as hot as yesterday. Oh, wow. Now you know what they do in Wallonia. Crazy. And so the tour of Wallonia started. I did not do much vlogging as I actually just got to the hotel room smashed after each day, and quite honestly I just wanted to relax. The road was super dangerous in Wallonia region. The first 2 days were rain soaked with cobbles, and the rest of the days actually ended up having more crashes than in the rain. We had more abandonments in 5 days than there were in the whole Tour de France 2019, to give you an idea. The racing was super hard with a lot of anaerobic efforts, which are always tough on the body simply because I've been lacking those specific efforts and leg speed while I was preparing for the rest of the season up at altitude. Oh, poor guy. Fuck, I think I'm too tired to think.
So doctor, what's the...
When they get drunk in Italy, they just... With the 90 days.
Okay, sign on time.
Fine and you.
Good, good.
R4 please.
Doctor.
Hello.
Is this making you asleep? This is a bit soft for Yenta.
Actually, if you were listening to this music in your headphones on the canals, you'd probably go home because you're bored.
Yeah, this is boring.
You know? Like on the canals, you really need something to pump you up. Spanish music is like so stuck in the 80s.
This is Brazilian, man.
Oh yeah, play that one. Yeah.
This is why I'm so famous to do party. I'm not.
Okay, come.
You
Now, I want to fight with you.
No, this one is okay. Just to have something, because otherwise we go always out. One more.
Maréchal Jean-Paul qui va venir s'imposer. Non, la victoire pour un courant de Wanty Gobert à domicile. Il a sauté dans toutes les roues.
Immediately after the final stage, we rushed as usual to get back to Brussels airport for my flight to Toulouse airport, France. Yeah, no, I did not have a time to go home. Okay, here we go again. Just arrived from Brussels to Toulouse, the Albert drive from the airport, and here we are now, Ibis Hotel. Good morning to this one. Hello. Tour of Wallonia is done, and in about 2 days' time is Clasica San Sebastian into the hilly mountains, close to where normally País Vasco is. But we're gonna get on the road line. Instead, my wife picked me up and we drove an hour in the direction of San Sebastian before checking into a local Ibis budget hotel. We rested up and finished the final 3-hour drive there the following day. As expected, I made the usual pre-race ride vlog, which is up on my channel if you're keen to check it out. And finally, already the next day was the start of Clasica San Sebastian 2019. Obviously, a day or two extra to regain some freshness would have been nice, but who am I to complain? Many guys came here straight from the Tour de France smashed. However, starting a classic as hard as San Sebastian, and especially with it being one of the hardest editions in its history, at a training stress balance of -41 is never wanted or ideal, and meant there will be a lot of pain in the legs. Good morning everyone, it's the morning of Clasica San Sebastian. Quickly putting on my numbers after breakfast, and as you'll notice with these numbers, they're really quite durable. I usually only get them with the World Tour races. It would be nice if the smaller races had these durable numbers during safe races as well, but unfortunately I guess it's a matter of budget. Sometimes we do cut these numbers to make them a bit smaller because sometimes they're really huge. Not going to do that today. However, you can also get fines for this, but it's really not noticeable. But these ones you don't want to cut because it actually makes a thread like with a bit of lining, so not going to do that. Yeah. But I'm sure people always find a way to. Here we go, team presentation this morning, and then 2.5 hours later we'll be starting with a nice 230 kilometers on the bike. Quite sunny, will be super hot, and it will be a good day. La 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 la. Okay, so the reason we're going on the bike so early to the start is just simply it's quicker than going on the bus. We can check that everything's fine on the bike, because whenever the bikes get traveled the day before race, it's always a little bit something can move a derailleur or whatever, and just double checking the bike is fine. World-class field here today at Clasica San Sebastian. Obviously some of the best riders in the world, and we're looking forward to enjoy every moment of it. Not really. San Sebastian is truly amazing, beautiful, but also I've heard it's apparently one of the most expensive cities in Spain. Prices look okay if you're not in the city, so don't know about outside, but coffee was quite cheap. Here we are.
Jende askoren babesarekin agur esango dio.
Eta bueno, bakarrik etorken arrazoia, aldekinek erabaki bazken momentuko berandu dut, eta liburunen
It's harder than last year. I know that last year you are in the, but also if you are there, you are there. You need to suffer this when we pass for here. After the race, take a shower. 6:45. You
Something else on the team?
yeah, the film. No, 200.
Uploading the GPX file for today, so you exactly know how far to suffer.
I can feel you staring at me the way you used to do, and it takes me back to these days. Seems like all these years didn't pass. We are dancing with the stars, and a piano plays inside of me the old melody for you. I can feel you staring at me the way you used to do, and it takes me back to these days. Remember the song we were dancing to? You swirled me around, it was just us two. Hold me in your arms and let time stand still.
As the race started, the break took quite some time to get away, so already the first hour was pretty fast. Movistar started controlling immediately and set a pretty solid pace, keeping the break on a tight leash. Normally the race passes Yazikibel twice, but this year has been made harder with the addition of Erlaert shortly after Yazikibel, which meant the fight for position long before would ramp up the pace. Erlaert is brutal in the way that there is almost no drafting benefits, so everyone would kind of have to be pushing the same power. The first 5 km averages at around about 10%, and I had to produce around about 450 watts, starting in a good position and drifting back simply to be the last guy hanging on at the top. By now the field has been reduced, but still 2 brutal sections remained. 2 times the climb of Murgil, where the steepest 2 km section averages around about 10.8%, but is made much easier with the Basque fans bombarding the roads in the support of the riders. Did I mention it's quite popular for them to hand out ice cold cokes? However, this year wasn't as hot as last year, so I opted out and settled for a bit less reflux as opposed to the 20 seconds of pleasure the coke would give me. All in all, we rode for Ruben, but a plastic bag in his wheel ended our chances for a podium spot. Eventually, Remco got away, and with the kid taking such a huge victory, it's truly up there in the archives of amazing performances. I'm Willie Smit, and I hope I didn't waste your time. Thank you for the amazing support over the past year, and if you like the content, help me by clicking on the like button, leave a comment, subscribe and share. Till next time, at Willie Smurfy.